Hello, and thank you for joining us for another session looking at the balance sheets of a complex high net worth family. And as always, we have our suspiciously similar looking family here, the Smiths, and we're focusing on Bill, Sam, and Alyssa here. But we'll also talk about, as families often do, blending some of their stuff, falling into your personal balance sheet with Robert as a three-time entrepreneur and some of the assets that he passes on to the rest of the families here. But without further ado, I wanted to bring back that balance sheet that we had become a little bit familiar with and highlight some of the business assets that we'll talk about. So you'll see Billy Builds, Bill's construction company, cash investment account, and then a few other businesses. Well, we have the business itself, Billy Builds, which is a sole proprietorship. We have the real estate that Bill owns with some debt on it. But when we're talking about businesses, one of the first things that we look at in terms of best practices for high net worth and mitigating losses and things like that is how the business is actually structured. And right here, you'll see a sole proprietorship, 100% ownership. With a sole proprietorship, you are entitled to very little protection. One of the things we focus on, whether it's high net worth or not, is the segmentation and protection between business assets and the personal balance sheet. With a sole proprietorship, you really aren't entitled to any of that protection. So more often than not, we are looking at things like LLC entities, S corporations, C corporations, as you'll see right here. And the beauty and main benefit between those are, one, there's different tax considerations and tax efficiency benefits that you can get. But arguably more importantly, with some of these different entity options, you are segmenting and protecting your personal assets away from potential claims or lawsuits from the business. And depending on the business, there's some businesses that are much more inherently risky than others. But with just best practices, no matter what type of business, you do that for the protection because there's not a ton in terms of work and complexity that some of these add. Now, C corporations, S corporations, LLCs, there's different requirements for all of those. But generally speaking, the idea of protecting personal assets against some of those potential business losses and claims is critically important for the long-term benefit of the family and a business owner. One of the other items that's important to pull out for balance sheets like this, that's very common with the families we work with, is the actual business real estate. People have done wonderfully well actually owning the real estate in which their business sits. We are big fans of this, but it adds in even more necessary considerations around the structure and ownership of the building. There are different other important tax benefits that you can get with structuring business, real estate, and assets, in the context of business owners and separate entities. But there also is that benefit of separation of risk with the building itself. So with these different business real estate properties, we often like to see separate entities. Yes, this is more complex, but it's following the same purpose and idea that we are separating risk and entity and having potential tax benefits as well when you're doing these different types of structures. The last topic I wanted to hit on with this specific balance sheet, but it's very common with families we see, especially multi-generational, are interests on your personal balance sheet for other people's business. In this case, it's Bill's father who had passed on shares and interests in the family business, which is a C corporation. So kudos to Bill's father for thinking about entity mitigation, and in this case, probably looking at different share classes specifically for passing on to families. And we'll talk about why complex families do that at a later date. But the point we're trying to make here is that this is some of the blending of multi-generational planning that you see. Very often, someone in Bill's shoes, and Alyssa's for that matter, they know that they have this asset, they know that they have this interest in a business, they have zero idea what it actually means to them, what their rights to the business interests are, how they'll actually find a liquidity event. Will their actions that they could potentially take as shareholders, will that cause adverse effects to the rest of the family? So there isn't necessarily a one tried and true trick to making sense of this. But what we do very well in this area is open conversations, going through the different documents that are highly complex in nature, bringing in the other professionals that helped structure this, manage this, whether they're different business attorneys or other shareholders. Several different people can be involved and are involved. Rarely do they talk together. So there is a critical importance of understanding what some of these interests are and what they really mean to you for good, clear, long-term planning. Looking forward to getting back to our next video as soon as we send it out, but thank you for tuning in.